Well, hey there, my friend. Welcome back to the show. My name is Deanna Yates, and you are listening to episode 286 of the Wanna Be Clutter-Free podcast. We are officially in holiday mode over here, which usually means that we decorate the weekend after Thanksgiving. I am a holiday purist, a Christmas purist, and I don't think you should be decorating before Thanksgiving ends because I think we need that moment of gratitude. Gratitude has played a big part in my life, and I find it to be very important. And I feel like if we rush the holiday season, we kind of skip that part. So I generally decorate the day after Thanksgiving if we are in town, but this year, life kind of has other plans. We were busier than expected, even though we were in town the weekend of Thanksgiving. And instead of doing the one-day decorating marathon, I've decided that I'm going to spread it out over the whole week. It feels right. It feels good for us. And that's one of the great things about growing up and becoming an adult is you get to start making more decisions for yourself. Oftentimes that can be scary because everything lands on us, but this is one of the things that I really feel strongly about, and that's what today's episode is about, right? We are looking at making this season more clutter-free, having a clutter-free holiday season, and it's not just about stuff. It's about giving yourself space. So that might mean that you're going to do things a little bit differently. You're going to buck the tradition, the things you've always done, and you're going to make them feel right for you this year. We're going to make time to do the things that you want to do, not the things you feel like you have to do. I want you to let this season look how it needs to look for you and your real life, right? Not what Pinterest says it needs to be, not what all the mommy bloggers say we need to do. Your home is here to support you, not stress you out. And if that means a slower, more gentler holiday season this year, well, that's perfect. If it means going all out with lights and garland and the whole shebang, that's perfect too. I just want you to be in control and to be intentional with what you are choosing. So for me, what does that look like? Well, I'm focusing more on the feel than the look this year. I want cozy nights in. I want hot drinks. I want classic holiday movies. I want reading under a blanket. And letting myself say no to the traditions that used to be non-negotiable is part of the package. So one of those things is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Now that's always on Thanksgiving, obviously, so I guess it goes a little against my Christmas after Thanksgiving rule that I just, announced to the world, but I used to adore that thing. I used to love getting up with my mom when I was little. It had such wonderful memories for me. We would bake, and actually we had these really special mom's rolls that we would make every Thanksgiving morning. We'd have the Thanksgiving Day Parade on the TV. We could see it from the kitchen. We would make these rolls, and it was very special. And so those two ideas, or watching the parade, became synonymous for me with Thanksgiving and the holiday season. And I loved the musical parts, and then I would just deal with the balloons and everything, but I still watched the whole thing and I loved it. But this year, and for the past few years, it started to feel more like a giant advertisement. And it just doesn't bring me joy anymore. And so I have decided to release it. I no longer go searching for it, and I no longer turn it on. I no longer record it, or I used to TiVo it for a while. I don't look for it on YouTube, any of those things anymore. And that felt really weird for the first season or two that I did that, but now I'm just so much more relaxed and peaceful around it. And I don't need to see all of that advertising coming at me. So it's okay to release these things that felt so special and such a part of our traditions, knowing that we can grow and we can mature and we can choose different things as we go into the next few decades of our own life. And another way I am working on changing this holiday season this year is I want to make our plans earlier. So I was pretty intentional last year with what we did, but I didn't always do a good job of planning ahead of time. And there were a few things we did where we were stuck with everyone else. I'm thinking ice skating down at the beach on Coronado. It's beautiful. Such a wonderful, fun San Diego thing to do. And I now love doing it, but the later it gets in the season, the more packed it gets. Also looking at the Christmas lights or the holiday lights, there's some really fun neighborhoods around here, but everyone else does it too. So I'm planning on seeing these things earlier in the first few weeks of December instead of waiting until the week of Christmas or that weekend when the kids first get out of school. That's when things are going to be the busiest. And the good news is too that now that our daughter is older, she helps more around the house, right? She helps more with the decorating. I'm not having to run around and try to do every craft this season. Like, she doesn't necessarily need to do all the crafts or want to do all the crafts anymore, which is a little heartbreaking, but also just part of this new season that we're in. We can work on transitioning from paper crafts to baking things. We can stay out a little later so we can do more fun things midweek. And all of that makes this season feel more low key, which I really appreciate. So I want you to know, Mama, if you are in those toddler or young kid phases, right? If that's where you are right now, I want you to really enjoy the magic. I want you to enjoy seeing the holidays through their eyes. There is nothing quite like kids at the holidays. That phase is so special. But I also want you to know that that rush, the chaos, constant managing of all the small things and people, all the hands, all the running around, all of that is going to slow down a little bit as they get older. It's still fun. It's just different. So lean into the season you're in, pick the things that really mean a lot to you and let go of the rest. All of this leads right into today's episode, how to create a clutter-free holiday season as a busy family. So today we're talking about how to gear up for the holidays without overwhelm, how to talk to your family about clutter-free gift giving, always a hot topic, ideas for gifts that won't add more chaos to your home, and how to let go of the guilt that comes with choosing less. I have suffered through that, so I want to give you my tips and pointers there. So if you're new around here, welcome. And if you're a longtime listener, welcome back. I am so glad that you are here. All right, let's get into it. So let's talk about gearing up for the holidays without the overwhelm. This time of year can go from 0 to 100 super fast. You've got class parties, work events, community events, shopping, decorating, travel, gift wrapping, kids finishing projects and exams if they're older. All of that is starting to pile up. And then the clutter sneaks in too, but it's not the physical clutter. It's the emotional and the calendar clutter. I have so many things on my calendar for next weekend. It's like everybody decided that that's the weekend that we're all going to do stuff. And so we've got a lot going on from Thursday the 11th through Sunday the 14th. Things are back to back. So we have a lot going on. We're definitely going to have to make some hard choices, and that's going to be okay. It just is what it is. We need to set our boundaries. So if you've ever felt like you blink and suddenly December is gone, you are not alone. I don't know what happened this year. It started in October, right? September felt so long, and then all of a sudden it is now December, and before you know it, January is going to be here. So I want you to try shifting one question this year. Instead of, what else do I need to add? What more can we do? I want you to ask yourself, what can I remove to make space for what matters? And that one question can change the energy of your whole month. So think about, what can I take away? What makes space for what matters? You know, if we don't end up getting to see the holiday lights this year because it doesn't fit with our busy next weekend, that's going to be okay. If we have to go see them, if we really want to see them and we have to go sit through the traffic, that's going to be okay too, right? So we can make plans, we can work on doing things, but if it doesn't work out exactly as we planned it, that's going to be okay. We need to focus on the heart of what really makes this season special for us and our families. All right, so next I want to talk to us about clutter-free gifts and talking to our family about this, because this is the number one struggle I hear from moms. I hear them ask all the time, how do I ask my family to stop bringing in so much stuff? How do I set boundaries without sounding ungrateful? What if they say no? My mother's love language is gift giving, so she wants to give the kids all the things. Plus, she doesn't see them very much, and so it's how she shows her love, and I feel really bad about telling her not to do it. Does this sound familiar to you? So I want us to break this down with a few simple, kind scripts that you can use. Number one, I want us to set expectations early. So look, this episode's going to come out December 3rd. We still have 3 weeks until Christmas. Yeah, over 3 weeks until Christmas. So there is time, right? So I want us to set our expectations early. So start having those conversations this week and say, we're keeping Christmas simpler this year so the kids can really enjoy what they receive. We'd like to focus on experience gifts or practical things that they'll use. Thank you so much for supporting us in that. Also, if your family is not on board with less gifts, I want you to take yourself off the hook. You, as the parent, do not have to buy the physical gifts. You can be the one that gives the experience gifts or the things that are more practical that they'll use if your family is really not on board. Trust me, it might take a few years for them to get on board, and that is okay. So that's something that I have had to experience in my life, right? So if your family is not on board with buying less stuff, you can be the one that says, okay, our kids are going to get so many physical gifts, they're not going to notice if we don't buy them a lot of stuff. And that's going to come in later when we talk about guilt around buying stuff. So just know that I'm going to come back to that, okay? Number 2, I want you to redirect with kindness. Now, this is for that one relative who loves buying lots of toys. And here you can say, if you'd like to gift something, here's one thing that they're really loving right now. It would be truly helpful. I am sure there is some toy or some new thing that your child is into that perhaps your loved ones do not know about, especially if they don't live close and they're not hanging out with them every day. Plus, this is helpful for everyone, right? It's helpful for the gift giver because they know that the gift they're giving is going to be useful and loved. It's helpful for your children because they're going to get things that they actually do want and actually do want to play with. And it's helpful for you because it's less random stuff that doesn't go together. Right? So have you ever had that problem where you get one thing and then in order for that thing to be fun, you have to get something else or whatever. And it kind of just adds on to each other, right? You get a Barbie, well, now maybe you need the car for Barbie to drive in and you need the Barbie house or you need all the clothes. Barbie needs a friend so that she's not alone, right? That one doll can add up to 100 more items that all become clutter in your house. And what if your kid wasn't really even into Barbies to begin with? That's where the clutter starts to come in. So if you have family that really does want to buy you something, steer them in the right direction so it's stuff that your kids actually want. All right. Number 3 is to invite them into the experience. Instead of shutting down the gift giving instinct, help them give in a new direction. So maybe you could say, look, Susie would love a day of baking cookies with you or going to the holiday market. That would mean a lot more than another toy. And you can turn this into a gift experience. And if you sell the idea, because mostly grandparents and family and loved ones, they just want to show love and they're not exactly sure how to show love. So if you can provide connection and time together, that is so much more exciting for them and for the kids. And so I think that's just a great way to steer them in the right direction and help them know like, hey, these are the kinds of activities they like. How about you guys do that together? Or we really want to, I'll get into some clutter-free gift ideas in the next moment, but just know that we can redirect their gift giving into a new direction if they still want to give things. Because of course we all want to share our love and we want to let them know that they're special. We're thinking of them. And that's what this time of year is really about. And then number 4, if they really still want to buy things, try to get them to use the 4 gift practice for kids. So if you want a simple structure, I love this little poem and it's worked really well for us as well. Something they want, something they need, something to wear, and something to read. It's clean, it's clear, it helps expectations to be set and manageable for everyone involved. And then also it's redirecting again and helping it to be stuff that is useful and helpful. Gifts in and of themselves are not bad. We're always constantly needing to get new things, especially for kids who grow so fast. So something that to wear, something they need. Do they have any new sports coming up in the spring that they need new equipment for? Anything for school projects or art stuff that they love, or just anything that they've worn out that can be replaced. And then at the end, you have something to read, which is always great. Our daughter's a voracious reader, so we're constantly getting new books in and out through the library, through Libby, all things like that. But sometimes she goes through all the books that they have at the start of a series at the library, and they don't have the tail end of the series at the library. So something to read is a great gift for us as well. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk about clutter-free gift ideas that still feel special. All right, so we want to give gifts, right? But we don't want the clutter. So how do we go about doing that? Well, here are some clutter-free gift ideas that will still feel special and make everyone feel loved. Number 1, experience gifts. Cannot tout these enough. gifts that give memories and experiences will be remembered far longer than the plastic tchotchke or thing that you got for them. Okay? I'm going to tell you a story about guilt and gifts in the next section, but just know that the experiences, you can take pictures, you can put them in an album after, which is great. And it's a way for you to remember the experience and actually doing stuff together, creating memories, creating these little inside jokes that you tell. Those are the things that build bonds and connections with family. And it's usually through experiences. So things like a baking class, museum passes, going ice skating together, a day date with grandparents, tickets to a holiday show, going for a vacation, these kinds of things. Some of these are bigger, of course. Some of them can be nice and small. A day baking with grandparents in your house, if your grandparents live far away, going and getting all of the ingredients, making something super special, taking photos of the kids with their grandparents while they're doing the activity, putting that together on a little album. Won't be that expensive, but would be an amazing gift. So when I say experiences, and they can include things like museum passes or zoo passes or, season passes to the local amusement park, those can get expensive, but they also can be things that are smaller in cost, but huge in memory. All right, number 2, consumables. These are going to be things like baking kits, art supplies, hot chocolate mixes, stickers, bath bombs. So you've got foods. There's the foods category of things you're going to eat up, chocolates and yummy goodies. You've got the arts and crafts things like stickers and art supplies. Then you've got things that could be more like self-care. So bath bombs, lotions, creams, makeup, things like that. So things that are consumable and will get used up. The next category could be practical, but exciting. So think about pajamas, like a really nice set of pajamas, a water bottle, right? So I still have the Stanley that I won. Never did buy this thing, but I did win it. And my daughter used this for a year, and then she didn't like using it anymore. She wanted one that was sealable and easier to take with her. Totally get it. So we got our, the Awala one, which turns out it was the new fad one, even though we didn't know it. But a water bottle, if you've got someone that's into trends, get on the newest trendy water bottle, something that they can use, but you don't need 9 million of them. Sports gear that they're going to, if they've grown and they need the next thing of sports gear, craft kits that they'll actually use if they're into calligraphy or crocheting or something that they will actually use, making the bath bombs. That was a really fun kit we got one year. I think it was at Costco and it was an amazing value, but we made a ton of bath bombs and soaps and all sorts of stuff from that craft kit, and that one was really fun. Jewelry kits, things like that. Things that are practical but exciting. And then the last one are memory gifts. Now, we do this every year with our family. We give a calendar for the next year, and it's really fun. We get one, and then I give one to my parents and to my husband's mom. And it's great because it shows us what we did the year before. We look for pictures that include everyone in them, but it's mostly our family. But we don't live close to my daughter's grandparents, so it's just a nice way, though, to share those memories throughout the year. They get a calendar that is useful, but then they also enjoy looking at the pictures as well. So other things might be photo books, something again to go with those experiences that you have received, or something even like a handwritten letter, something that is more meaningful, that doesn't necessarily come with a lot of clutter. As we get older, we have everything we need, right? And as adults, we can buy what we want when we want it. We don't necessarily have to wait like we're children for these big gift-giving holidays to get the things we want. So oftentimes, those of us that are adults, we already get what we want. So a handwritten letter, some way to show that you care, it could be really, really special for family. All right. So again, these kinds of gifts are not less than, right? Just because it's not a physical item or it's not a big physical item or lots of physical items doesn't mean that it's not special. These kinds of gifts are often more meaningful. Remember, we're creating connection, love, time with people, and these little inside jokes that prove that we belong together, that this is our tribe, these are our people, these people get me, I belong here. That's what clutter-free gifts can give us versus I went to the store and I grabbed the first thing that reminded me of you and wrapped it up. I don't know why we've equated that with love when it's often less work than these clutter-free options. All right. So next, I want us to talk about navigating the guilt when you choose to give less, because this is something I have dealt with. This one is big. Guilt creeps in fast around the holidays. We think, I should give more. They'll be disappointed. A good parent gives their kids a big Christmas. Do you suffer with that one? I sure did for a while. But let me tell you from experience, it is not true. You do not have to buy a bunch of things in order for your kids to feel love. And often, the more you buy, the more overwhelmed everyone is, and the less special and the less sweet and meaningful it feels. So let me tell you why. One year, I felt really bad that we didn't have a big pile of gifts under the tree for our daughter. So I bought some more. And probably bought more. I kind of went a little overboard. I didn't mean to. It just kind of started small, and I had some gifts that were tucked away that I'd kind of forgotten about. And so by the time I ended up gathering everything together, it was kind of a lot. And you know what happened? It just added to that chaos. She was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. We spent too much money, which added to that feeling of like uneasiness. And so many of those gifts ended up untouched or not really loved. And not because she didn't like them. Well, she kind of didn't really. Like, she didn't gravitate toward them, right? But I also want this hard truth to sink in for you. There is only so much time in the day. There is only so much that one family can play with, can enjoy, can use, can keep track of, that can actually see the light of day when our kids are trying to play with stuff. So more is not easier. More does not mean more fun. Oftentimes it just leads to the kids feeling overwhelmed. And when kids are feeling overwhelmed, they kind of just shut down, just like we do as adults. We go back to our favorites, and everything else kind of just is like, out of sight, out of mind. I don't have time. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with that. Right? So one example I'm thinking of, actually a couple examples I'm thinking of. One is a light bright that she got, and I remembered mine when I was a kid. I loved it. I thought she would love it. Nope. She made one thing on it and then didn't want to change it. So she made the one with the unicorn and the rainbow, and then she didn't want to make any of the other designs. So that hunk of plastic sat on her shelf for months and didn't really get used, didn't really get turned on. So it was a lesson learned that, hey, maybe she didn't actually need all of the stuff that we bought her because she didn't actually play with it. It was just a one-time use thing, and it made me feel really bad, but I did give it away in our Buy Nothing group to someone else the next year, and I felt good about that. At least I hoped someone else was going to play with it. So again, I bought that light bright because I felt bad that she didn't have enough under the tree. She was fine. She didn't need any more toys. She put it together, spent maybe an hour max with it, and then it just sat on the shelf. So thinking more clearly now about who my daughter is and how she plays and what she likes to do, I could learn from that mistake and move on. Another example is from my extended family. So years ago, I remember doing this. The rest of my family probably won't remember, but I feel like I suggested doing gift exchanges for a while because we were buying gifts for 8 different people. No one bit. No one wanted to do it, so I just let it go. And I just thought, okay, fine, I guess we're just stuck doing this. But then one year, a few years ago, thankfully, my niece suggested it. And then suddenly everyone was in. So now we do a gift exchange, a Secret Santa, with all the adults in my family. My family still buys for my daughter because she's only 12. So, she doesn't participate in the gift exchange yet until she's an adult, and then she'll join in as well. But here's the thing. It wasn't that people didn't want to do it. It just turned out that the timing wasn't right. So sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes we just need it to be a different time. We need someone else to suggest it, and that's okay. I don't want our egos to get in the way of a calmer, less chaotic holiday season, okay? So if you want to do a gift exchange with your family and you kind of float it out there and nobody bites, try to get an accomplice. Try to get someone to be a ride or die on it and have them suggest it. Maybe they just need someone else to say it. Maybe they'll say it in a different way. Maybe you're known as the clutter-free one and no one else in your family wants to be clutter-free. Hello. And so they're like, yeah, that's cute, but I don't want to do that. But then someone else suggests it and they think, oh, well, that sounds fun. That's okay. My ego is not hurt. I am happy that we get to do the gift exchange now in my family. I enjoy only having to buy one gift and not 8. My budget loves it. My closet loves it. My suitcase loves it when we travel back to the family, right? So it is so much easier and I love it. We're not giving less. We're making room for magic. We're all adults. We can buy what we need when we need it. So we just try to do things that are a little more special and maybe a little bit more from the heart. So that is why I love gift exchanges. Now let's talk about a few quick wins that we can take now to make a huge shift for us on Christmas morning. If you celebrate other holidays, please feel free to tweak these to fit with your timing. We celebrate Christmas in my house, but I am well aware that not everybody does. So please know that these will work regardless. 1, I want you to do a small pre-holiday declutter. It doesn't even have to be small, but keep it small if it's chaotic right now. I want you to grab a donation box, put it in a central location in your house, tell your entire family, hey, if you come across something you're not using anymore, let's toss it in here. Let's help bless other people and make it so that our house doesn't feel so full. We're about to have a big influx. This is just going to make it so much easier for us. Put it there. Start just anytime you see something, just put it in that box. When the box is full, put it in your car, get another box. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be this huge week-long event. It can be simple and it can just be something that's part of your daily routine because right now we know everybody's so busy. But as you're running through things, as you're getting out your holiday gift wrap, as you are getting out the holiday decorations, as you're putting your laundry away this week, everything you're doing, just take a minute to look around and say, hey, is there anything in here that's garbage that needs to be thrown away, that I don't wear anymore and I can donate, that, you know what, I don't really love it anymore. Get it out of your house. Don't just look past it. Take a moment and put it in that donation box or put it in the garbage, okay? So that's number 1. Start with this small pre-holiday declutter. Anything new that comes into your home, I want you to set the intention right now that you're gonna do a 1 in, 1 out strategy, okay? So on Christmas morning, all those gifts that are coming in, you can even preview this if you're the person that's buying all the gifts for your house and know what's coming in, and so you can replace it and get rid of the old things that are going to be of the same category, right? You have some old art supplies for your kids, we'll start to clear out the art bin and make room for the new stuff before it all gets jumbled together at 9 a.m. on Christmas morning, okay? So that's one way you can start doing that. So just set that intention to know that like anything that new that comes in, let's get rid of something old that it can replace. Then I want you to think about how you can prep your home to make things easier on Christmas morning. One of my favorite things is to do a French toast bake the night before. And so I will prep that on Christmas Eve. It goes in the fridge, and then Christmas morning while we're unwrapping gifts, it goes in the oven, and in 45 minutes it is ready to go. And so that way we can have yummy Christmas, hot breakfast, like delicious French toast casserole, bake, whatever. It's so good. I'll look to put a recipe up, but it is so, so, so yummy. And then we don't have to do any extra work on Christmas morning. It's already done. Now, if we want to make eggs or anything else, that's fine, but generally we'll just do this and some coffee and all is happy and well in the world on Christmas morning. So what are things like that you can do that you can prep ahead of time to make your day run smoother? So think about that as you are trying to plan for a more clutter-free, less chaotic Christmas morning. And then one of my favorite traditions for younger kids, and really anybody, but we'll talk about younger kids because Santa's going to make an appearance, right, on Christmas Eve. So I love to have my kiddo bag up some toys that she was ready to part with, and she would leave them under the tree. So I don't know if you know this, but Santa will take toys back to the North Pole. He and the elves will refurbish them. And so it's great. Santa has this lovely magic. They can redo all the toys and make them new and give them out next year. And so what I love about that is we put them in a bag and we put them under the tree. So as Santa brings us new presents and new toys, he takes that back with him. So it's a nice, easy exchange and makes that pretty simple. So if you have young kiddos and you're expecting a visit from Santa this year, that is a great way to help part with some gifts. All right. So it gives your child ownership. It helps them say what they are ready to part with. It helps them be kind and give from their heart. It also connects giving with receiving, and it frees up space before those new gifts arrive. So give that one a try and let me know how it goes. All right, before we leave this week though, I do want to leave you with one action step, your weekly challenge. I want you to choose one clutter-free holiday shift that you are going to make this year. I gave you a ton of ideas and examples in this episode, but you can start with one. You could implement more than one, but commit to at least one of them. It could be a gift conversation. It could be skipping an event. It could be a small decluttering sweep before the holiday rush. It could be simplifying gifts for your kids. It doesn't have to be huge, but if you commit to one thing, it will make a difference this year, and it will make the holiday so much more special, clutter-free, less chaotic, all of the good things you want, full of peace, calm, joy, and love. And it might spread to more things. It might become addictive. You might be able to stack more on this year or more for next year. And then I want you to take a moment and I want you to feel that difference. Does your season feel lighter? Does it feel more intentional? Does it feel more peaceful? No matter what, I want to hear from you. I want to know which one you are committing to, and then I want you to check back in with me and let me know how it felt. So come on over to Instagram and tell me. I am at Wannabe Clutter-Free over there, and tell me what's one small way that you are creating a clutter-free holiday this year. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be Pinterest worthy. We don't have to have a Ralph Lauren Christmas. I just want it to be a holiday that feels good to you and your family. It feels special and like love and warmth for you. All right, so that's your challenge for the week. I also want to know what you thought of this episode. So again, come on over to Instagram, come on over to Facebook. I have a private group over there where we can chat. It's the Wannabe Minimalist Family Group. We'll have a conversation. You can join in over there. And if this episode helped you, please consider leaving a rating or a review wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps more moms find their way here, and it truly means the world to me. Full show notes for today's episode can be found at wannabeclutterfree.com/286. I will make sure to find and link my favorite French toast bake recipe over there, so check it out. Until next time, take care, keep things simple, be open to letting go of more, commit to one change this holiday season, and remember, I believe in you. I know you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm Deanna Yates, and you've been listening to Wannabe Clutter-Free. I'll see you next week. Cheers.